Hello, everyone. Uh, Kilted here. Look, I want to go over mounting butt pads, right? So this customer came in, right, and he had a thinner pad on here, and he really liked the length. The length was 14 and a quarter length of pull, but he's had some shoulder surgeries, so he wanted a thicker butt pad on here, which meant I had to come in, cut the stock, that kind of thing. That way, the steel overall length of pull was 14 and a quarter. But as you see, when you order butt pads, they are quite a bit thicker, right? Because you have to shave them down and sand them down, but which is also good because I know this customer. He competitively shoots clays. So, yeah, I know how he throws up his shotgun, brings it down. So, when I'm custom fitting a butt pad, I have customers do that multiple times, just throw it up to their shoulder, right? And I'm able to watch and pay attention how they angle it. So are they ones that it's perfectly straight? Is he off? Is he riding it high? Is he riding it low? So on and so forth. And I say he, but I'm getting a few women in here now, so I'm going to try to break myself of that. So I can shave this thicker butt pad down to better fit his needs, right? So the first thing I always do is, of course, you've still got holes drilled in back here for the screws, right? First thing I do is make sure that those screw holes line up. Luckily, this one did. If not, then what I tell everybody to do is get a wooden dowel, preferably the same wood material as the stock, or at least something relatively close, and basically put glue in the hole, put glue on the dowel, hammer it in, cut it off flush, so on and so forth, right? That way you can mark and re-drill new holes. I'll go over that if need be, right? Then the next thing I'll do is I'll actually tighten this butt pad down, all the way down I can, right? Without stripping out the screws from the wood. You don't want to sit here and gorilla fist your screwdriver to where you're stripping out all the wood in here, because then you either have to go to a bigger screw or you have to put in a wooden dowel, re-drill, start the whole process over. Then what I do is, this is just a cheap Harbor Freight pick, right? That I have set here and ground to a kind of an oblong point, right? And what you're going to do is, I'm going to try to keep this in camera, is you're going to lay it up, right? And then you're going to score all the way around. That way when we take off this butt pad, we can see our line. So hold on, let me take off this butt pad and show you what I'm talking about. All right, so before we get to that, nice little pro tip. Your screwdrivers, right? So this is actually the screwdriver I use. So I can't get a lot of torque on it, right? And that helps me prevent from stripping out those holes. But what I do is I just get some soap, right? This was in the shape of a turtle. I forget where I got it from, but it's perfect for this. What you're going to do is you're just going to put a little bit of this soap all the way around, okay? And then you're also going to do it to your screws, right? Every time you pull out your screws, you're going to put more soap on there. Now, why do that, right? Well, you put it on the screwdriver so it'll slip into the hole, and as it spins, you see it's not pulling on the rubber and damaging that hole. That way everything still looks nice and pretty, right? The reason that you put it onto your screws is this will lubricate as it's going into the wood stock and makes everything work a little bit smoother, a little bit easier. And I'll also get some on the head of the screw, because as you see, it wants to stop. So that means I have to push to get it through, and without any lubrication, then it can actually cause damage to those holes once again. So let me take out both of these screws. That one still needs a little bit, right? But you see this line here and this line up here, right? That's how far I need to sand all the way around. Now, this is black on black, right? Now, what is a contrasting color, right, to black? White, right? So what I'll do is come in with white chalk, white grease pencil, whatever, and I'll actually sit here and just fill in that track, okay? And then I just sit here and wipe it off either with my hand or a towel or something along those lines, right? Now I've got a little bit that's went a little short up here. Bam. That line's a lot easier to see now, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this up in a jig, and yeah, then we get to start sanding and that kind of thing. And I have to watch it and be careful, because if you look right here, you see it kind of divots in. That's probably from me scoring it, right? I might have accidentally went at too sharp of an angle there or something, right? But now I can really see it, and I know to watch out for that, okay? So let me go get the jig, kind of show you how to do that, and yeah, hang tight. All right, so this is the jig, right? Of course, you can see this is where the butt pad's going to go, but what does all this stuff do? What this stuff does is help me set it up for the stock. So I basically want this hook to line up with the stock hole, right? And I can keep everything nice, straight, and even, right? So I try to line up the bolts with the holes, get it pretty daggum close, and then you can move everything. You see what I'm saying? So I can change this angle pretty sharply, right? But you see most of them fit just within this 1.5 inch range here. So I just pretty much set it down, make sure I line up the holes with the stock, make sure I then line up the end of the top rod to the hole in the stock, and then I'm going to tighten down this wing nut, right? Okay? Ta-da! And I always sit here and double check it. And luckily I did, because I am just a smidgen off. So it's like with a lot of things, right? Measure twice, cut once, right? There, that's a little bit better. Okay? So now it's really simple. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take these screws out. I'm going to put these screws into the butt pad and screw the butt pad down to this piece of aluminum, and then go over to the belt sander, or the orbital sander in my case. Alright, so in all fairness, this next little section I am going to just kind of freehand, because it'll take me too long to set up the camera mounts and everything else over here, just to show you a really small portion, right? So hang tight. Alright, so here it is, right? It's on this shepherd's hook. Ignore the shape of my shop. I have been doing a lot of these today, right? Okay, this is like my 5th or 6th one today. But basically it'll hang on the shepherd's hook, and you see I made it to where I could extend it a little bit higher or lower, so on and so forth, right? And what we're going to do is, once I cut on this orbital sander, this just hangs, and I'm able to keep spinning it and keep running it, right, all the way. You see I'm going to have to adjust this one to come down a little bit, because it's just not hitting everywhere, right? So I'm going to have to adjust this to come higher, okay? But let me rehook this. Come on, there we go. So yeah, I'm not actually going to show you the process of sanding this down. It's fairly self-explanatory, and the sander is loud as hell, right? And I won't be able to talk to you because this stuff is very light and fluffy. And so eye protection, put a mask or something on to help you with inhalation. Um, and yeah, watch your fingers as you're rotating around and sanding. And then I'll kind of show you all the final part. So hang tight for that. All right, and there we go. We got it nice and fitted, and you can sit here and look down it and see that it comes out this way, right? And it comes up a little bit. Once again, this is because I know this shooter, right? And the way that he holds it is a little bit low, and with his shoulder surgery, I wanted to give him as much cushion back here and bolster it out a good bit. That way it'll take more of the recoil and disperse it over a greater area, less damage to his shoulder, but which is a good thing. So now what I get to do is just clean this up, right? So it's still got markings like that, little fuzzies, so on and so forth. Still got some grease pencil on there to where I had to come back, so on and so forth. So I'm just going to clean it up, and cleaning it up is really simple. I usually just get some oil or some ballistol in this case, and I just go all the way around it, right? And now what this is going to do is just to get all of these little fine rubber hairs off and loose, right? That way everything will be nice and relatively smooth. Now this is rubber, so rubber doesn't get really smooth, but it does a little, right? Wipe all of it off. Then there we go. Right? Now, I've still got this up here, which I'm going to repair, but I'm not going to show you how I repair that. Why? Because that's kind of my secret. Okay? So, yeah. But that is pretty much it. I'm going to knock out that little bitty part, reattach the stock to the gun, and call it a day with this. Luckily, I've still got like a bunch more left to do. Yay! But yeah, so I've hoped y'all have enjoyed this video. I hope it kind of is educational. Now, what I tell people, because I get folks coming in asking me how much to do this, if I'm not cutting the stock down, all I'm doing is mounting a butt pad. So you brought in the butt pad you want, I'm mounting it, right? I charge $35, being honest. And it takes me right at half hour, okay, to knock that out. So yeah. But since this customer wanted to cut it down, a good cleaning, I had to buy these pads, for which anybody that's curious, it's a Kiki's recoil pad, item number David Adam 20210 Mike Boy. I know it's probably going to be reversed in the video, but yeah, I ordered them straight from Kiki's, and they're $49 a piece. So yeah. Also, you know how I told you about the sanding belt, about, hey, watch your fingers? Yeah, I should have paid more attention to that rule. So I done skint my finger a little bit. Of course, right in the knuckle, right in the joint. And it's always so annoying. But anyways, I'm going to clean it up, put a bandage on it, and finish the stock up and move on to the next project. So, hope y'all have had fun. Hope y'all have enjoyed it. Y'all have a good one.